The topic of whether this relates to Marvel Comics is raised by Daredevil, Born Again, which suggests that Buck had a troubled past prior to working for Kingpin. Buck plays a significant role in the conclusion of Daredevil, Born Again Episode 7, as the character saves Kingpin from an attempted assassination. Buck proved to be an essential part of the ensemble of Daredevil, Born Again when he stopped a murder attempt by one of Kingpin's old underlings, the criminal boss Luca. Although Buck isn't one of the Netflix series Daredevil, Born Again's recurring characters, he has been crucial to Kingpin's recent charade as mayor of New York. Given that Fisk will require trustworthy individuals in his immediate vicinity, this makes perfect sense. Kingpin makes a reference to Buck's background in Daredevil, Born Again Episode 7, raising questions about who the former is, how he relates to the larger MCU, and whether his plot from the show has any bearing on the several stories of his Marvel Comics counterpart. Buck's status as a comic book character may not be immediately apparent from Daredevil, Born Again. Buck Cashman is best known in Marvel Comics as Bullet, who is a U.S. government agent whose job is completely unknown until he enters the world of Marvel's heroes and villains. In order to support his son Lance, Buck takes employment from many of his contacts. In his first appearances, Bullet and Matt Murdock / Daredevil fought during a fictitious terrorist strike on Wilson Fisk's own Save the Planet organization. Bullet and Daredevil had a kind of continuous rivalry after this. In an effort to kill Matt Murdock, the former was detained, released, and joined by professional assassins. At one point, Buck joined forces with Bullseye and the Assassin's Guild, which helped him battle the X-Force mutants. Buck eventually becomes the host of the Phage symbiote in a dramatic turn of events. Following their split, a somewhat changed Buck joined groups like Hank Pym's Lethal Legion and the Fist, and cleared the air with Daredevil. It turns out that Buck's career in Marvel Comics is far more extensive than Daredevil, Born Again suggests. Buck Cashman's appearance in Daredevil, Born Again differs greatly from that of his comic book counterpart. According to what is known as of Daredevil, Born Again Episode 7, the sole similarity between the two versions is that they both had dubious histories as senior U.S. agents. In Daredevil, Born Again Episode 7, Kingpin makes reference to this, as Buck's abilities and the Easter eggs in earlier episodes amply demonstrate his familiarity with the MCU's criminal underworld. Despite the possibility that Buck has a son in the MCU, Daredevil, Born Again has not yet made this official. Furthermore, the show has not included Buck's identify as Bullet. After working for Fisk, Buck could undoubtedly turn into his own vigilante, but Daredevil, Born Again appears happy to maintain him as Kingpin's go-to guy for the time being. These distinctions, along with Buck's lack of ties to symbiotes, mutants, and other significant Marvel components, make him a completely different character in Daredevil, Born Again from the one in the original. Daredevil, Born Again has confirmed Buck as Wesley's successor because of his variances from the comic books. One of the best characters in Daredevil Season 1 was James Welsey, who was portrayed as Wilson Fisk's shady, eerie right-hand guy who did a lot of his dirty work. Fisk's plot was severely hampered when Karen Page from Daredevil later killed Wesley. Given his numerous comic book transformations, Buck from Daredevil, Born Again is essentially taking Wesley's place. This was demonstrated in the last scene of Episode 7, where Buck acted as a mediator between his boss and Vanessa, prevented the killing of Fisk, and cleaned up the body. Above all else, this is how Wesley was employed in the first Daredevil, demonstrating how different Buck from Daredevil, Born Again, is from his comic book counterpart. Buck is an agent with a troubled background who is dedicated to aiding Fisk, not a symbiote host, a vigilante in his own right, or a direct adversary who is transformed into Daredevil's ally. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more videos.